For me, the PNPT is actually the first certification I'm pursuing. What is up, YouTube? I think it's about time I told a story about how I became a hacker. Ethical, of course. It all started in my second year of university. I took up a module on information security and auditing. For once, it was that one module that just clicked. When I think back, I actually realized that the school system doesn't do much for us in terms of helping us figure out what we'll settle for long term. But if you're fortunate enough to find something you actually want to pursue, go for it. After looking at this module, I then looked into the field of security. I was greeted by a plethora of certifications. I'm looking at these certifications, I'm like, how am I even supposed to decide on which one? And even if I do, what if I fail after paying so much money? Because the higher the quality, the more expensive they become. OSCP. Anyway, I was like, I don't have to decide on that right now. Let me get into the dungeon. Let me work. I was at that point, I started to know about Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, Kali Linux. I started finding out all these words, wondering, okay, what's the best now? Then I watch a video and it says, Try Hack Me versus Hack the Box. I'm like, perfect. As soon as the video starts, he says, if you're asking yourself whether you should use Try Hack Me or Hack the Box, you're probably not ready for Hack the Box. Humble. Because at that point, I'm like, okay, let me look at Try Hack Me. What do they have? And I have to say, Try Hack Me is the most beginner-friendly platform. The topics and learning paths are organized in the best way ever. So okay, I'm started on Try Hack Me. I'm looking at the introduction to cybersecurity course, and it even has a careers section. And that's where you start to learn about security analyst, penetration tester, and the list goes on. Then at that point, I'd actually started an internship in an IT support role. At a time where I'm supposed to be in monk mode, I'm supposed to be working. The joys of IT support for a fairly small organization is that you actually have a lot of free time on your hands. So whenever I wasn't attending to support issues, I was grinding, I was studying, time went on, and before you knew it, I had a 100-day streak on Try Hack Me. And I have to say, I did have Try Hack Me Premium for about 3 months. I was that committed. And paying the money actually is low-key motivating, because you're not gonna get it back. So finally, let me actually choose a certification. And at some point I'd actually settled on CompTIA Pentest Plus, because there's actually a path on it on Try Hack Me. But looking on the internet, realized that it's multiple choice. People are saying, it's not very beneficial for you to undertake something that's multiple choice. So I needed something a bit more hands-on. And then I discovered TCM Security's Practical Network Penetration Tester. So it's basically a 5-day ethical hacking exam where you have to capture a domain controller. And among the course material, there's practical ethical hacking, there's OSINT fundamentals, there's Windows privilege escalation, Linux privilege escalation, and there's the ethical hacker playbook. You can't just pay $3.99 off the bat. Like, what if I change my mind? So at that point, I realized that some of the material was free. So close to half of the practical ethical hacker course is actually free. So I'm going through the videos now. I'm just going through them, taking notes. They put the half out to actually give you incentive for the rest. Like, if you don't know what the material looks like, you probably wouldn't just pay for it off the bat. But trust me, it's well worth it. And then, after I did a fair amount of them, I was sort of burnt out. I was like, what? Let me pay for the voucher. Which I then realized that the same board, TCM Security, released the PJPT, Practical Junior Penetration Tester, and that has the practical ethical hacker part in the reporting, and it costs half the price, and it is simpler in contrast. For me, the PNPT is actually the first certification I'm pursuing. So now I'm looking on LinkedIn and people are saying that they failed the PNPT, and you go to this person's page, they have like 5 certifications, they have all these certifications they've done before, and they're saying they failed the PNPT. But well, lucky for me, the PNPT comes with 1 free retake. But still, I'm now having second thoughts. I'm like, should I actually do the PJPT instead and then try go for the PNPT later? But then what if I don't get an opportunity to really sit down and work on something like this? After consulting some people close to me, I realized that I actually had studied for the PNPT all this time. Things of value come at a cost. After that, I'm going through the course material. I'm realizing that I made the right decision, because overall, even though this is my first certification, I have really good fundamentals from my time spent on TryHackMe. Because on TryHackMe, they introduce you to all these tools like Metasploit, Nikto, Netcat, everything, like in such a cool and beginner-friendly way that by the time you meet them, they're not as daunting. Even though the PNPT is designed for a complete beginner to be able to actually pick it up. That is, if you have background in networking. It wouldn't be ideal, and you'd find the material pretty dense. But for me, so far it's working out, and I'm just done with my first week of studying the official material, and I'm 41% through with the practical ethical hacker portion. So that's great. And so far we've actually reached the course capstone where we're actually doing walkthroughs for certain machines, and I actually rooted the eternal blue first try, and I'm feeling confident, so stay tuned for how it'll go going forward until the time I actually take my exam.
Hey! Come on, man! That's too easy!